Hello everyone, my name is Cheyenne, and I'm the DM for Chicks with Crits, The Sun, the Moon, and What Falls Between. My campaign was inspired by a whole bunch of fairy tales, myths, legends, and folklore. Now, while we're taking our hiatus, I thought it might be a fun idea to read you and tell you about some of the things that helped inspire my campaign. So, without further ado, I want to tell you guys about the Ceryneian Hind. The Ceryneian Hind was one of the 12 labors of Heracles, an ancient Greek hero who was given 12 seemingly impossible tasks to make up for a horrible crime that he once committed. Now, the Ceryneian Hind was a doe with golden antlers and hooves made of bronze, belonging to the goddess of the hunt, Artemis. The hind was one of her sacred animals, and this one in particular was allowed to roam free because it was said it was faster than any arrow that could fly. Now, King Eurystheus, the man in charge of giving Heracles his tasks, had hoped that Heracles would never be able to catch the hind, or, if he was able to catch it, he would bring down the wrath of the goddess Artemis. With that in mind, he sent the hero on his way. It would take Heracles an entire year before he was finally able to catch the Ceryneian hind, running through multiple kingdoms and countries, all up into a point where sources kind of vary. The hind, weary from being hunted for an entire year, would finally take a rest by a pond where Heracles would be able to subdue it. Or Heracles, after a year, would finally draw his bow and would shoot one of the legs of the hind, causing it to fall over, leading him to finally be able to catch it. Now with the hind, he was ready to make his way back to King Eurystheus, but he would be confronted by the goddess Artemis and her twin brother Apollo, demanding to know what he was going to do with the Ceryneian hind. Heracles confessed to the goddess why he needed the hind, and because of his honesty, Artemis told him that she would allow him to take her hind back to the king, as long as he swore to let it free afterwards and return to her. Heracles agreed to this and was finally able to return home. Now, upon arriving back with the hind, the king Eurystheus saw the beast and was entranced by its beauty. He demanded that the hind be added to his royal menagerie. But Heracles, remembering his promise to the goddess, told him that if he wanted the creature, he had to come and take it from him himself. And so the king met with Heracles, and as soon as Heracles let the hind leave his hands, it ran off faster than the king could grab it, and Heracles just shrugged and let him know that he was just too slow, and that if he wanted it, he'd have to go and capture it himself. You guys can probably tell this was the inspiration for the golden stag in the woods that the party had to catch several times. I hope that you guys enjoyed this little bonus story time. And thanks for listening, and keep on cluckin'.